And he's going to raise.
Oh, shit.
Puts 2 pieces of bubble gum out there. That's 10 grand.
Real shit? Yeah.
Yes.
What's cracking? About 3 months ago, I went onto the lodge and I made 8 grand in about 4 hours. So I crushed. And I thought there was only one option, and that was to go back. And that's what I did. Like a week ago, I went back and I played on another 5-10 stream. And it didn't go as well as the first time, but we still make things happen here and there, you know me. I'm not going to walk out of there a loser. Let's go over some hands. What's good? So, first hand, we got the $50 straddle on, and it's going to fold to us. And we look down at the ace-jack offsuit. And mandatory open. We choose the sizing of, I assume, 150, just with the straddle on. And it's going to fold to J-Win, and he's going to stick in the call, and it's also going to lead to T1000 sticking in the call. Both these dudes coming out of the blinds getting a little bit of a price. Ranges are going to be pretty wide. Flops to Jack, Queen, to Diamonds. And it's going to check to me. I think this is a mandatory steady bet. I mean, we got second pair top kicker against wide ranges. Our hand likes to get some denial from some flush draws and some overs and some weaker 2-pair. And we can always play a little bit of pot control on the turn because we get a little scared sometimes against some top pairs. He's going to check it over to us, and we're just going to check back. Pretty standard here. Our hands toeing the line between thin value and showdown value. Once it checks to us, I think we always have the best hand. Players just get too greedy and lead 2-pair here, even a player like T1000. So I'd pick a okay sizing, and I decided to value bet for about 550 bucks, I believe. Oh, 450 bucks. And T1000 goes into the tank for a while here, and once he starts tanking, I'm like, I have the best hand. He thinks for a while and finally throws in the call. He goes, it's pretty hard to make a pair, and flicks it in. I win this $1,700 pot, 2 hands in. This is the second hand of the stream. Pretty nice. He gives me some props. He goes, nice bet, nice bet. And confidence is flowing. Hand number 2. What's cracking? About 1 million years go by before I finally pick up a decent hand. Like 45 minutes, I knit up forever. Okay, you're going to see T1000 put the $200 straddle on, so it's like 5, 10, 25, 50, 100, 200. Scuba's going to call. Angelina's going to fold, and I pick up, King 10 off in the small blind. There's $1,500 in the pot. Why is there $1,500 in the pot if only the $200 straddle's on? Well, it was a splash pot, and I'm essentially playing like 14 big blinds deep or something like that, like 12 big blinds deep, with Scuba's call in between as well with some dead money in there. Like 14 big blinds with King 10 off is probably an okay jam, and I just decide to rip it in. Like, I'm risking 2,400 to win 1,500, and then when I do get called, I usually have a good chunk of equity. So, like, you'll see Corey think here for a while because he realizes there's 4K in the pot and he only has to call off 2,400 to win 4K. So he's like, shit, I got an ace. What do I do here? He thinks for a while, and he finally decides to let it go. Now it's on J-Win, and J-Win's like, shit, I got a ace-queen in a splash pot. Like, what do you want me to do? And he just rips it in. T1000 folds, Scuba folds. And when he jams for his size of stack with people behind, I immediately know I'm behind. So I'm kind of sad here. J-Win's just like one time, and I'm like, okay, this kind of sucks. It rips off. I brick everything, and I lose this $6,200 pot. Nice. So this hand's going to start off with Dino sticking in a limp here, and Angelina looks at her cards, and it reads kings, but she actually does not have kings. I think she has ace-king off, because it says I'm holding an ace, and I'm actually holding king 10 off. So I bet she picked up my king, I picked up her ace, and yeah, I have king 10 off for this situation, and she has ace king, I assume. I decide to 3-bet. There's a lot of dead money, and this is a little bit loose. It folds back to Angelina, and she's just going to stick in the call. The Nick game's also on. I'm trying to get rid of my nit button. I'm going to be super wide. If she does have ace king off, this is 100% a jam. With the Nick game on, I'm just going to have way too many hands here. And versus that range, ace king off is just literally the nuts. She decides to call. $1,900 in the pot, and it comes 8-3-5 rainbow. Really good for my range. And I'm just going to stick in a really standard c-bet. I'm praying that she whiffed at this point, and that I can just take it down and make ace-high folds. But I do choose a sizing that if she does decide to float with ace-highs, then she can fold the turn still. So I bet 500. If she were to call, I just rip it in and hopefully fold some ace-highs on the turn. But I get to take it down right now, win a quick $1,000. Alrighty, so Nick game is back on. The $50 straddle is also on. It's going to fold around to T1000, and he's going to stick in a raise to $150. Dino's going to stick in a call. Scuba Steve is going to talk for a very, very long time, and then he is going to call. Angelina looks down at her cards and says no bueno, and I wake up with the juicy 10-10. 10-10 is just going to be a slam dunk 3-bet in this spot. I'm out of position. I'm making $1,000, pretty large, but with all the dead money, caller in between, I think it's a standard size. T1000 folds, and then Dino rips it in, and it's 1,025 from Dino, or 1,175. So it does not reopen action. Scuba kind of recognizes that, and so he can stick in a call without me having the possibility to backjam. And I sit here for like 10 minutes because I thought I covered Dino, and I don't. So I just sat here like a dumbass for like 10 minutes waiting to call 175 into 3,500. So you can see people just like staring at me. Anyways, I finally learned how to click the call button. I had to cut out literally 30 seconds there. That was insane of me. The flop comes nut low for me, ace, king, 6, 2 spades, and I'm just going to check here. There's no point in trying to bet. I don't get called by worse, and I don't make better fold. Turns a queen of diamonds, making things a little stinkier for me. It checks around, and the river's a 10, so I make a set. So in this spot, especially against softer players, you're basically free-rolling a bet, meaning if you can bet, and if you get raised, it's just a jack and you can fold. And you will almost always get called by just garbage. So I decided to make a bet of $500, trying to get like King X, Queen X to just stick in a random call. He actually has a better hand than that. He has Ace X, and that hand probably would have called up to like $800 or $900. But we get paid for the side pot, and we end up losing the main pot, which was significantly larger. We ended up losing like $1,500-ish on this hand, I believe. So that kind of sucked. Now we can go to my most poorly played hand of the night. I've actually liked how I've been playing up to this point. And now let's let it all crash and burn. So Scuba's going to look at his cards for a while, and he's going to shake his head in just despair and fold his cards. Angelina looks down at King, Queen off and is going to raise, pretty standard. She makes a 75. I look down at my hand. I have King 10 off, and I think it's good enough to 3-bet. Button versus small blind, this is, I'd assume, okay. It might be a little wide, it might be a frequency thing. But I'm on stream, I'm not a nit, I'm going to 3-bet it. It folds back to Angelina, and she's going to stick in a quick call. And we're going to go up to a flop of 10-2-9. Rainbow, we flop top pair, second kicker. So my thought process right now is I think cash players in general overstab flops with air. And with weak middling pairs and mergy 7x or 7s, 6s, 9x, and obviously all their 10x, and then just like a ton of air, like ace highs. They're overstabbing a ton. So with that mindset, you can basically just check to them, let them bet all their garbage, and just check raise with any decent hand. And that was my plan here. I forgot that like Angelina has 2 brain cells. She's a tournament player. She understands theory, and she's tight, meaning that she will not overstab this spot. With that in mind, you are then supposed to just start range betting, like range versus range type battling, instead of like exploitative check, let them bet all the air, and then check raise. So I end up checking here, which is quite the mistake, and she is going to quickly check it back. We go off to a turn of the Queen of Spades, kind of a brutal turn. The 3-bet defender is going to have like a ton of Queen X. They're going to have tons of offsuit Queen X and tons of suited Queen X. So when I check again, I look really weak in this spot. And when she bets 300 bucks, like almost full pot, I realize I can't fold. My hand's still too strong to fold. She can have Jack X, spades, random draws, and air that has to start bluffing. River rolls off a 3 of hearts. I check it again. She ends up counting out chips, and she goes for a large bet of 750. I didn't think she'd take the sizing with 1 pair, so I thought she was polarizing a little bit into 2-pair range, and I didn't think she had a ton of 2-pair. And I also think she's a good enough player to just bluff off with all her Jack X and air. So I don't think for very long, and I just stick in a call. And I throw my chips in, and she shows me the bad news. I lose this $2,500 pot. We're about 2 hours and 30 minutes into the stream, and I'm stuck $3,200. This is the most I've ever been stuck in any live cash game. So a few new emotions running through my head. I'm not in the brightest of mood, but I'm still prepared to crush. Alrighty, in this next one we pick up the ace-9 off, and it folds to us on the button. Very standard raise. The $100 straddle is on, so I'm going to bump it up to $325. Lots of dead money in there. Tito's going to pick up the Jack-Jack in the small blind, and he's going to decide to put in a very, very standard 3-bet to $900. And it's going to fold back to me. The sizing's pretty small. It's only $575 for me to call into $1,400. I'm nearly getting 3-1. I need 25% equity. And only needing that much equity, I think I'll be able to maneuver post-flop and make it a profitable call here. So we're going to head off to a flop of 4-9-7, giving me top. We basically have a pot-sized bet behind. He looks at my stack and just rips it in. I'm never folding because I think Tito can actually get pretty out of line in that node. And I'm quite behind to the Jack-Jack. You can see me shoveling my chips here, reaching back to get more because I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose. But he asks if I want to run it once or twice, and I say twice. Tito's a nice guy. He always lets me run it twice. The first run out is going to come off as bricky as it gets, the 8 of clubs and the 5 of hearts. Second run out, we're going to be looking for a 9 or an ace. The turn is a 6, not giving me one of those, but the river is a 9. I go ahead and put those chips back, no need to reload. We're going to chop this $6,800 pot up. Let's be glad I didn't lose that last hand, because I think I would have got on monkey tilt. Look at my facial expression right now. I'm like not in the greatest of mood. I want to be up $1 million by now, but I'm not. So let's change that. It's going to fold around to Jaywin. He's going to stick in a raise with the 6-5 off. And he's going to bump it up to $125. T1000 is going to fold his cards. Dino's going to look down, take a peek, check out what's going on. He's going to stick in a call as well. Scuba's getting his scalp absolutely annihilated right now, and he's going to stick in the call as well. How can you fold getting a massage like that? It's going to fold to me, and I'm going to pick up the ace-queen suited. Mandatory 3-bet. 2 dead callers in between. J1's going to be opening super wide, as you see here. And we're going to bump it up to $750 out of position. Pretty awesome spot. J1's going to think about it for a while. And he's going to stick in a call here. You might think this is very wide, and it is, but he does have 1 fire truck. And the fire truck meaning if he wins 3 hands in a row, everyone has to pay him a little bounty, and it makes players play a little wide, getting it greedy to win some pots. After J1 sticks in the call, Dino's going to rip in a stack of $595. That does not reopen action, so Scuba Steve can once again squeeze in a little loose of a call, knowing that I cannot reopen behind, and that's what he does. After the dealer does a great job of figuring out the side pots and the main pots, there's 3K in the middle, and holy shit, we flop top 2, and there's already $3,000 in the middle of the pot. We don't think for too long to bet $1,000. We want to fast play this hand because I think Scuba is going to be really sticky with like a lot of Queen X, in my opinion, and all of his Ace X. So I decide to fast play. It says he folds, but he sticks in the call here. There is now $5,000 going into the turn. The turn's the brickiest 4 of all time, and he checks to me. I'm going to ponder for a minute, take a little bit of inventory, and after some thought, I just decide to go all in. I think Ace X can't fold, and I think draws can't fold. Turns out Scuba has one of those hands. He has a flush draw. The math side of poker here, he's getting about 2.5 to 1, I think is the math. And calling here with his specific hand would be a very unprofitable call to make. But I kind of thought Scuba Steve was a gambler and would always stick it in with this hand. Scuba starts to talk a little bit, try to get a read on me. He asks if I have a flush draw. I tend to just never talk back to someone who's talking to me at the table. I just prefer to not give them any reads. If I was better at table talk, I would definitely talk back to him and try to incentivize him to call, but I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to table talk, so I just shut my mouth. He thinks for a while, and he finally decides to fold. But the hand's not over yet. I'm going to scoop in this side pot. I think there's about 1,000 or so bucks in there. I'm not sure exactly how much. But the hand's not over. I still got to win the main pot versus Dino's King Jack of Diamonds for a massive combo draw. We decide to rip it off one time, and it bricks off. It gives him a pair, but a pair is no good versus my top 2. And we scoop in this $5,000 pot. In this next one, we're going to see Dino limp his 8-6 suited, and I'm going to be on the button with Ace-6 of clubs. One of my cards didn't read, apparently. I'm trying to get Dino heads up, isolated as much as I possibly can, because I think I have a huge skill edge against him. J1 with the 8-7 suited, with a fire truck that I didn't see at the time, decides to 3-bet, and he chooses a sizing of $1,300. Dino then just rips in his 8-6 suited. Then I think about for a while what I can do here. Folding is probably okay, but calling seems a little better. I'm in position, getting a really good price, and the 3-better has the fire truck. So he's going to be a little bit wider than he normally would be. I probably can work on my visual tells because I look a little frustrated. So my range probably is a little capped after that. But I stick in the call and we go off to a flop of Queen, Queen, King. So there's a dead main pot in the hand with Dino's cash, and then me and J1 are going to be fighting for a side pot that's worth about $1,000, maybe less, 800-ish. The flop goes check check, and I make a pair on the turn, which is really nice because I'm going to be ahead of a lot of his ace highs now, and other random holdings he might have. Turn goes check check, and the river goes check check as well. J1 flips over his cards, showing that I won the side pot between me and him, and then Dino flips over his cards, and he actually has pocket 8s. So I will lose to his 8s for the main pot, which is a pretty large main pot. It was about 2,400, 2,600, something like that. So that is unfortunate. This next one, the $50 straddle is going to be on. J1's going to open it up to 125. And T1000 is going to bump it up to 375. Dino thinks about it for a second, and he throws in the call to T1000's 3-bet. And it folds to me where I pick up Ace-10 suited in the small blind. I think T1000's 3-bet sizing is a little small and a little weak, in my opinion. Would he make that sizing with aces or kings or ace-king or the top of his range? I don't think so. This gives me an opening to go for quite the loose 4-bet out of position. It's standard to do this at some frequency, but in this scenario, I think I'd go for it 100% of the time. I bump it up to $1,400, and it folds around back to Dino, and he ships in the rest of his short stack for another 625, and now we are heads up for a pot of $2,500. We decide on one time with our 62% equity. We're getting it in a little bit ahead. We flop middle pair, eliminating his pair draws, but he flops a flush draw. So we gotta fade a couple outs, turns a beautiful king of spades. Now we just gotta fade 9 diamond outs on the turn, and the river's an 8. What a beautiful run out for this scenario, and we're gonna scoop in this $2,500 pot. So immediately the next hand we're going to see a $50 and $100 straddle, and Dino's going to limp, and Scuba's going to limp with his 7-7, and Angelina's going to reach for some more chips, and she's going to bump it up to 500. Now you can see that I got a little fire truck stacked on top of my chips, incentivizing that once I win 3 hands, the whole table has to pay me a $200 bounty. So when I pick up ace queen with 1 fire truck, this is essentially the nuts. People are going to think I'm super wide in this configuration, and I was lucky enough to pick up a premium hand. So after Angelina opens it up to $500 over some limps, I'm going to 3-bet to a very large sizing of $2,000. It's going to fold around back to Angelina, and she has a pretty awkward decision at this stack depth. King 9 suited, in theory, should be a call to a 3-bet, but to my size, it's a little uncomfortable, and she quickly decides to fold. You can hear me calling over for the big fire truck, meaning I now have 2 of them babies. Look at that thing, it's massive. So the very next shuffle, T1000's got the $100 straddle on, and Dino's going to go all in blind for $400. It's going to fold to me, and I pick up Queen 9 suited on the button. Kind of a gen spot for this hand. It's a pretty strong hand given I have 2 fire trucks for the range I'd be playing, and I'm going to open it up to $1,200. And it's going to fold all the way back to T1000. And he's going to grab 2 bubble gums and just throw them in there. And he goes, oops, and reaches like he didn't mean to do that. In game, I didn't think it was like a true angle. I think he was joking around. I thought he had a hand sort of like he has now. I thought it was going to be a lot of ace jack, ace queen, ace 10 hands. That realized versus my opening range when I have 2 fire trucks, they're kind of just the nuts. So I sat here and realized often I'm going to be flipping or slightly behind. And when I call and I win an extra $1,200 or whatever it is, when I do win from getting that 3rd fire truck, I thought it might be a profitable call to throw it in here. I'd be flipping against 8s and below that I think would do this, and then I'd be slightly behind against the ace jacks, ace 10s. So I didn't think calling was the most terrible option. And you can see me think about it for a while here, but in the end, I realized it's probably not a very good situation to get myself into, especially for an $18,000 pot. So I finally decided to let go of my cards, and good thing I did, because board ran out and I would have lost to T1000's King Jack. So good fold by me. So that was the last important hand I played of the night. I picked up kings towards the end and had to fold on the turn on an ace-high board. Anyways, here are the stats. Right in that tight aggressive realm per usual. Lovely spot to be in. As for the VPIP, I bumped it up this session. I was up to 35 compared to, I believe, like the 27 I was at last session. So hey, no nit, sub 20 VPIP over here. Cumulative winnings, you can see me book a $540 win. I actually booked around a $900 win. The graphics are a little wrong, but a win is a win. I think at my low point, I was stuck around $4,500. So around a 1K win is significantly better than a $4,000 loss. So I'll take this any day of the week. That's going to be all the hands I'm going to be covering for this video. I actually went and played 1-2 for about 6 hours after the stream. So the stream went from 12 to 4, played 1-2 from like 5 to 11. I crushed 1-2. I won $4,200. the games are so good in Texas. If you ever get the chance, I would 100% go out on a poker trip to Texas if you have free time. You're going to pay for your flight and your travels, I promise you. So, ended up booking like $5,000-ish win on the trip because I won some on the first day as well. Super successful trip. Planning on doing it again maybe in like the next month or so. For now, I'm going to be posting some 1-2, 1-3, 2-5 content on this channel. I'm going to go record it live, commentate it, the poker vlog style. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.